Now he's got something in here, and when I initially read this part, I was like, well, that's a little bit off of my thoughts, but he comes back to it later, and we'll get to that part. Remind me, actually, when you get to this part talking about decentralized command, because here he talks about something that's a little bit opposite of what I usually say. So here we go, back to the book. Obedience to the officers and subordination is so exact that no one ever questions an order. Hours are observed exactly, and however little a general knows how to make himself obeyed, he is always sure to be. No one ever reasons about the possibility of an enterprise, and finally, its accomplishment is never despaired of. So what he's saying there is, like, everyone just listens to me. That's what everyone just listens. And no one questions the orders. And we're going to get to later where he actually, there's two things. Number one, he really takes care of his people. So they listen to him because he takes care of them. Yeah. It's not because he barks orders of them. It's that he really cares about them and he takes care of them. And the other thing he talks, and he'll talk later about this, is how getting input from people is important. So even though he lays that out there, I think that's almost like a little macho. He's throwing some macho, hey, look at me, everyone just listens to me. Yeah. That's the way it is. I don't know if you noticed this when we had Colonel Fife on the podcast, and I was talking about this with Dave Burke the other day. When we first were talking with Colonel Fife, he was saying, yeah, well, everyone just did what I told them to do. And I was kind of like, wow, that I always say that doesn't really work. So I'm thinking of this to myself. He says, yeah, people just tell them what to do and they do it. That's what made my group, my unit so good. And I was like, wow. And then he went into it, and when he went into it, all the answers were there. He was like, no, I cared about my guys. And then he went into, I don't know if you remember this, he went into this part about where he said, look, if you're in a tank and you tell someone to get out of the tank when the tanks are hitting, bullets are hitting the tank, and go fix the track, you think they're going to do that just because you told them to? No, they're not. Not if you don't take care of them, not if they don't understand. So even though he initially said kind of like what Frederick the Great is saying, hey, people are just going to listen to me. Both saying the same kind of thing, but both of them have a lot more depth behind that reaction from their troops. So whenever somebody hears something like that, it's like, no, it's not true. It doesn't work. As a matter of fact, there's a chapter in the new book coming out that Leif and I wrote. And Leif's talking about this one CEO that we're working with that's kind of like quoting Patton, like discipline is the ultimate. And same thing, Leif's talking to the guy like, hey, that's not the way the military works. And he believed that when he would hear this kind of thing, this is like a macho thing to say, right? Is that the right word? I don't know if that's the right word. It's a bold statement. Hey, my troops just listen to me. Right? It's not true. There's so much more depth that makes that actually happen. All right.